Hello and welcome to the Lorna Marie Fitness Podcast, the show where we talk all things fitness, health, mindset and lifestyle to help you become fitter, healthier and happier. I help busy people who lack time, motivation and self-belief to look and feel great again. If you want to work with me, head over to lornamariefitness.co.uk, but for now, enjoy this episode. Just before we dive into the Q&A, if you are listening to this or you're watching this and you are not a squaddy, our doors are now open. If you are somebody who wants to reboot their health and fitness, maybe you're struggling with time, with motivation, or maybe you just don't know where to start, and you're wanting to join a community that's going to lift you up, inspire you and motivate you, and you want proper results that you can actually maintain for the long term, then come and join us for our 6-week reboot. This is how everybody starts with us. We are open now. So all you need to do is head to the website, click get started, and we'll get in touch with you and see if we can help. What's the ideal balance of workouts to achieve notable results and get a more toned, stronger, happier, healthier body? What's the ideal balance and the amount to do each week to see results over time? I know it's 150 minutes a week, but I struggle with the best use of this in order to achieve optimum results. My goal is to lose 1 stone and fit into my favourite jeans again after 3 years of them being too small, and generally feel and look much fitter. Ideally, this will happen over the course of the next 4 to 6 months. Okay, what is great with this here is there's a real goal and target. That's fantastic, brilliant. And what I would say here is, okay, we've got the sort of end goal, and the end goal is in 4 to 6 months, we want to have lost 1 stone and fit into the favourite jeans again. That's the end goal. Where are the mini goals in between? What are we actually trying to hit here? Because the thing is, if you just think about the end goal all the time and you don't have the mini goals along the way or the mini steps along the way, the breakdown, which I guess is kind of, this question here and what that's related to, you just get stuck thinking of the end, and really fitness is always going to be a journey. Like with any sort of goal that you have, there's this thing called the arrival fallacy, and you'll hear me talk about it a lot. It's when we actually get to that point and get to that goal, almost like, maybe this is a bad example to use, but I feel like this. I love the run up to Christmas and get really excited about Christmas is coming, Christmas is coming, Christmas is coming. And actually, I really love the journey up to Christmas. And when it gets to Christmas, it's like, oh. Or same with if you go on a holiday, it's so exciting, booking the holiday, deciding your destination, the hotels, and you get really excited, get some new clothes, get your nails done, and you go on holiday, and yeah, it's good, but, now what? So we always move the goalposts. If you feel like you lose a stone, then you'll have a new goal when you get there. So it's really important to focus on how you're going to get there. And also, I'm really pleased that in this question you said, and it's just to feel and look more fitter. That's brilliant. That's great. And then you've got to think about why. Why do I want to feel and look fitter? Sounds obvious, but why for you? And keep that in your mind and just keep reminding yourself of it. So if we're going to break it down, it depends on what you want. So if you're wanting to be fitter and healthier, that's quite broad and quite generic. Where are you right now? Do you want to really focus on toning and shaping your body? Okay, if so, you need to have minimum 2 strength workouts in there every single week. Minimum 2. Ideally, you'd have 3, but you wouldn't really have too many because then your body can't recover and you won't see the results. But it also depends on what can you stick to, because ultimately that's going to be the best combination. What can you realistically stick to in your week? And the 150 minutes that's the recommendation for moderate minutes of exercise. So that can even include things like a brisk walk. It's either 75 minutes of vigorous, you've got your HIIT, you've got your combat, you've got your aerobics, you're stronger, or 150 minutes of moderate, your power walking, your Pilates, a brisk walk, vigorous cleaning around the house, gardening, or a bit of a mixture of both of them. So firstly, decide what works for you. In an ideal world, you'd have a mixture of moderate, low, and high intensity, vigorous intensity. And if your goal is to be overall fitter and healthier, you need to have a mixture. You've got to have a mixture of these things. So I would say minimum 2 strength workouts a week, so a couple of strongers,
or you might have a stronger and then a booty band, or 2 strongers and a hit with weights, so 3 there. So 2 to 3 strength workouts a week. Same again for your cardio sessions, and you might even do a bit of a bolt-on with that. So you might do, okay, I'm going to do a stronger workout and then I'm going to do a 15-minute hit, or I'm going to do a stronger workout and then I'm going to do something else, or you put them on separate days. And then you want to be doing at least a couple of mobility, flexibility things too, having 1 to 2 rest days per week. Now, that might sound like, whoa, 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 say that again, Laura, say that again. Because the reality is, what you actually need to do is look at your week right now and see where you can break that down. If your main focus is to shape and tone your body and lose a bit of weight, I would say start with strength. Make sure that you've got your 2 to 3 strength workouts in there. Okay, put those into the week. Right, now what can I fit in and where? So it's a case of getting your diary out, looking at it and thinking, right, I know I need to have variety. I know I need to have minimum 2, maybe 3 strength workouts over the week with some rest in between. Right, okay. Now I need, ideally, let's start with, okay, I'm going to build this up. Let's start with 2 cardios and a couple of holistic. Maybe I'll do Yogascape after stronger or something like that. You have to do what's realistic for you, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to set the bar so far away from where we are right now that everything just seems unachievable, because you just won't be able to stick to it. Like, no one would be able to stick to it. So it's really important to think about where we're at now and what's realistic for us right now. And this could be a case of, okay, so for the first month, this is what I'm going to do. And then next month, I'm going to introduce another cardio session. But yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, at the end of the scale, minimum 1-2 rest days a week. To lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit, which means calories in are less than calories out. That does not mean that we do more and more and more exercise to try and burn calories. We do exercise for our cardio health, so for our heart and our lungs. We do exercise for our muscles, so we have that nice shape and tone, for our metabolism, for our bone density, and we do our flexibility work so that we don't pull our back when we bend over, and we can tie our shoelaces, and we have got strong cores, and we can stand up properly, and we don't get all the niggles, and we can stay injury free. So this is why we work out. So if you're wanting to lose weight, you want to be in a calorie deficit, and that's going to come from your food. So you want to be eating a balanced diet. And the best thing to do, like some people calorie count for a little bit. I think that is useful in the short term, but in the long term, not. So I'm very much from a camp of, right, okay, let's get some consistency with the diet here. Let's have a regular breakfast, lunch, dinner. You know what snacks you normally have. You know, everyone knows roughly what their normal sort of day looks like, right? I think most of us, most humans anyway, we tend to eat quite similar throughout the week. So it's going to be a case of, right, how's this serving me right now? Am I losing weight with what I'm on right now? Yes or no? No. Okay. Well, I'm going to make some really small tweaks, and that might be, well, I know that I eat like a balance. I know that I have a little bit of what I want to, but it's not working right now. So I'm just going to tweak my portion size a little bit. I'll just have a little bit less of whatever. So cut your portion size down by 20% and keep that for 3 or 4 weeks. Have you lost any weight there? Yeah, God, I lost loads and I feel exhausted. Right, okay, well, let's up it a little bit then. Or, yeah, I did. Yeah, that was good. Okay, great. Carry on. No, I didn't. Right, okay, so what happened? Did I just go on a bender for the weekend and that didn't quite work out? Am I holding water retention? You know, it's a case of like adjusting it, or do I need to adjust it again and tweaking it as you go along? But that is how you want to do it, little by little. And the only way that it won't work is if you are inconsistent. So you're not sticking to a consistent fitness routine and you're not sticking to a consistent diet, or if you give up too early. So we get impatient as humans. We can get impatient. Oh, it's not working. Oh, I'm going to try something else. But ultimately, it's the little tweaks that make the difference, and the slow way is the fast way. The worst thing you can do is try and look for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That actually ends up being the slow way, because it works for so long, then the weight bangs back on, and then you look for something else, and then you lose weight on that, and then the weight bangs back on. So just doing things the way, and the slower way actually ends up being the fast way, because we actually get there and we can actually stay there and stick at it. So, as sexy as a balanced lifestyle. It's true. Okay, next question. Hi Lorna, somatic yoga keeps showing up on my Facebook. It seems to be targeted at ladies of a certain age. What is it, and is it different to the classes we do? So my understanding of somatic yoga is it's more about how your body feels in the poses, as opposed to getting into a certain position and having to be a certain way. So it's meant to be a little bit more of, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Like introspective style, more gentle, and just really, really getting in tune with the mind-body connection and seeing how you're feeling in those poses. And that's my understanding of what somatic yoga is. Okay, next question. What are the benefits of combining weight sessions and yoga classes? Do they complement each other? Yes, definitely. So what you could do, they complement each other in a lot of ways, and I would always say you need to be doing them all anyway, like all the time. If you just did weight sessions and no mobility work, so no yoga, Pilates, you might find that you get quite a lot of tightness and a lot of niggles. They complement each other really, really well. So the yoga classes are going to help to improve your mobility, improve your flexibility, and then in turn that will help with your weight sessions. And the other way around as well, the stronger you are, the easier it is to get down into chaturanga and then push yourself back up into an upward facing dog. So they complement each other really nicely like that. If you want to do them before or after each other, you could do a yoga class for a bit of mobility work and get your body limbered up, if you like, for a weight session, as long as it's not too vigorous beforehand. Or you could use it to help mobilize and release and improve blood flow and help your body recover afterwards. So they benefit each other really. They complement, that's what I'm looking for. They complement each other really, really nicely. And you don't have to do them one after the other. You can, but in terms of keeping them in your fitness regime and routine, they're really important to do, definitely. Oh, hello! I've just seen the comments come through. Lizzie, hi! I hope that was helpful. I don't get, you know when you're doing a live, it doesn't always flash up with the comments. So please never think that I'm ignoring anyone. I just don't see it. So keep chatting to me. Yeah, keep chatting. Okay, next question. Hello, if you have space. Always got space for a question. I'm doing a 10K race, my first on Sunday. Ah, that's exciting. How do you recommend I continue or taper exercising over the next 10 days? Do I carry on as normal? Or do I reduce the amount of running that I'm doing? In what case, what am I best replacing the running with? I'm doing lots of stretching, thanks. Okay, perfect. So congratulations, first of all, for putting yourself in for your first 10K race. That is brilliant. You've got 10 days to go. We know that we want to start to cut back, but not too much. We want to keep going with a little bit of running to start off with. So this is how I would break it down personally. So I would say in the next 1 to maybe 3-4 days, I would be reducing my training by about 20% or so. So taking your normal weekly routine, reduce it by 20%. Then after the 4 days, and we're going into the next 4, if you like, I would be reducing it significantly by like 50%. Yeah, definitely making sure that you're getting adequate recovery in there. So maybe even things like you could try some foam rolling if that feels nice for you. You could do some yoga, making sure you get enough protein, carbohydrates. You're starting to think about, okay, I need to be a bit more hydrated. I need to get some decent night's sleep. Just starting to think about that kind of thing, and reducing the running by 50-60%. And you don't need to worry about replacing it with anything. You can still keep running, but the idea is to taper down to give your body rest and recovery before you do the race, not to like replace it with anything else. I wouldn't try anything new in this space of time at all. We don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be giving our body any injuries, any niggles, so nothing new. Just keep your normal routine, and you're going to reduce it a little bit at the start and then even more so. And then the last couple of days beforehand, I would just be having rest rest and get yourself ready. So lots of sleep, or sleep the best you can anyway. Getting your adequate protein, carbohydrates in there. Yeah, maybe doing some light stretching or yoga escape. That might be quite nice, but not trying anything brand new. So if that's new for you, maybe not that, just doing some, if you go into on demand and you could type stretch in, there's some pre and post run stretches on there. You could also look at the bolt-on area for some shorter stretches, or you could do some yoga if you type in chill or relax, and some really relaxing ones come up too. And that is sort of how I would be doing it. But just get excited about it. It's going to be great. A lot of it comes down to how you feel on the day. And the most important thing, and I know this is easy to say and kind of hard to do when you're in the moment, but it is to enjoy it and like remember why you put yourself in for it, just to prove to yourself that you could do it and that you got this. It's fun. You're here now, so time to enjoy it. But that's how I would do that. After a run, I'm really diligent about stretching, but should I be stretching beforehand too? Mixed answers when I've researched this before. Yeah, it's really true. There are really, really mixed answers on this. And to be honest, the research is pretty inconclusive at the moment. What they do say at the moment is that dynamic stretching beforehand is useful. So dynamic stretching is things like your leg swings or your knee lifts or your lunge twists, or if you wanted to, doing like a yoga escape class, for example, or a yoga, just basically doing a bit of mobility before you go on your run. That is good for range of movement, just helping your body basically get prepared for the run. Even things like getting your core switched on. But afterwards, it's a mixed bag. I think afterwards it can help to release a little bit of strain. You wouldn't hold any static stretches beforehand. You could hold static stretches afterwards. So static is where you're holding a stretch. So, you stretch out your calves and then you hold it for 20, 30 seconds or up to a minute. A quad stretch, you could do that. So if that feels nice in your body, then definitely do it. But you're not really meant to hold static stretches before a workout, before a run. That's when you're doing your mobility stuff, your dynamic stuff. So I would say do it if it feels good for you. The most important thing is that you're actually doing it. So whether that is immediately before or after, or if it's during the week, it just needs to be in your schedule somewhere. So making sure that you're incorporating, if you do a lot of running, I would say like ideally three mobility practices throughout the week, so that it could be yoga escapes, perfect for running, yoga escape or yoga or Pilates or a bit of all of it, incorporating that into your week so you keep on top of your mobility and your flexibility. That is more important. So where you can do it consistently than doing it like immediately after a run, for example. But if it feels good in your body, then do it. It's really subjective, and as I said, the research is basically pretty inconclusive. Apart from beforehand, dynamic is pretty good, but static's a no-no. Okay, next question. Can you surf the on-demand section, assign the workout to a day to find it quickly when you wake up for an early morning workout, but your eyes aren't with you yet? I love that. So what you can do is you can decide in your journal, you can put a specific live workout in there. You can put that into your journal and obviously it ticks you off as you go through. With on-demand, you can put a category in there. If you're wanting a specific on-demand workout to do in the morning, so you can put it into your journal, that's what you're going to do, the type of workout, so then to make sure that it tracks you, but then just put the workouts into your favorites. So just go into your favorites. You don't need to go into your journal at all. You just go straight into your favorites in the morning. Say you want to do, Pilates 150. Put that into your favorites in the morning, do Pilates 150. You said in your journal that you're going to go on demand, do holistic. It will take you off when you've done it. So that's the way to do it. Good idea though. Something for Mr. Tech Will. Just add it to his to-do list. He loves it. Now, if I run on trails where the terrain is more tough, I have more of a tendency to roll my ankle, resulting in sprains. Ow. Can I do anything to help avoid that apart from running on smooth roads? So it's a tough one. It really is. And the last thing you want to be doing is spraining your ankle all the time. There are a few things you can do So the best thing is to like gradually increase it over time and to improve your ankle strength or the muscles supporting the ankle, like the muscles around that area, improving your strength there. You could have like, you could tape up your ankle, have ankle braces. Just make sure that you've got adequate footwear as well that is supporting you. So it might even be worth going to a specific running shop, getting them to analyze your gait, telling you what sort of shoes that you can wear and explain the situation and what keeps happening. So they might be able to properly look at your foot, see, right, okay, this type of shoe would be best for you. Maybe you need a bit of arch support here. That could help with the ankle rolling. And then it is just going to be a case of, right, okay, how can we build this up? And also making sure that you're not too tight in that area as well. So adequate flexibility work for your calves and just, yeah, your calves, your ankles. You could do things like calf raises to build them up a little bit. But apart from that, it is just going to be, you know, allowing your body time to get used to this kind of thing. So I would say, if possible, could you do runs where it incorporates a little bit of that and then a bit of smooth road? Could you also go and get your gait analysed if you haven't already? Could you make sure that you are definitely doing enough strength work? So things like stronger, you're incorporating stronger at least twice a week so that you can improve the strength in your body, improve the strength of your lower body, or even like booty band, that's a good one too. And making sure that you're doing things like yoga skate, Pilates to make sure there's not too much tightness, to help release that area, release your calves. And then equally doing things like calf raises just to help strengthen them. So it's going to be a combination of strength and release, and then just making sure that you're kind of controlling the controllables here. But it's a difficult one, especially if you're more used to running on smooth roads as well. But I'm saying, I wouldn't say that it's a no-no. It's definitely, yeah, one of those that the body gets hardened to, I think. Yeah, I think that's, I don't really know. Another thing you could do actually, so I've wrote here proprioception. What I mean by that is kind of your balance of proprioception, so where you perceive your body to be in a certain space. So things like that, doing balance exercises, standing on one foot when you brush your teeth, yogascape, got a balance track in it. You come back to yogascape, don't I? It's true though, it's so good for all these things, it really is. Yeah, definitely that helping, so making sure that you've got that into your week, so controlling your controllables. Since I've been trying yoga classes, I'm waking up with pain in the centre of my foot, which disappears after a while after walking on it. Any idea of why this is and ways to avoid it happening, please? Okay. So I would be looking at what's going on as like a bigger picture, because the thing with yoga is normally it's barefoot. So if you feel anything, you know, say if you're doing a yoga class in the morning, you've just woken up in the morning and then you're doing something barefoot, it could be a sign of plantar fasciitis. But things that are barefoot can be exacerbated if you have, say, like flat feet or if you have really high arches. So plantar fasciitis is an inflammation of the tissue that runs underneath your foot. And generally, yeah, you will feel like a bit of pain in the center of your foot. That can be from basically from having flat feet and high arches and not being kind of used to doing things in barefoot, or it can be a strain, or it can be overuse, it can be poor footwear. So I'd be thinking about the whole day holistically as opposed to one yoga class. But if you do have plantar fasciitis, it's going to be a case of making sure that you rest your foot. So it might be the fact that you wear a bit of support when you do yoga for a while, or some people go to bed with like a foot splint just to straighten it out. Some people use ice, some people try and stretch it out. The best thing though is I'm not a physio, so I have to say, you know, the best thing would be to speak to somebody if you've got a suspicion that that's what it could be. Generally, yoga wouldn't cause something like that. It would be like a mechanical thing, like a biomechanical thing in your body, which, yeah, you'll have to let me know if that sounds if you think it could be any of those things. Yeah, let's see if did I have anything else to add for that one? No. The best thing you could do really is just to kind of monitor it and modify where you need to. So when you're doing the class, if you feel any pain, obviously stop immediately, modify where you need to, and then monitor it. When does it feel worse? When does it feel bad? What footwear were you wearing? How were you holding yourself when you were standing on your feet? What kind of surface were you on? You know, having a look at the day as a whole. And that could also be something really useful for a physio as well. If you just take that to your physio and be like, this is what's been happening, you've kind of got a bit of data on yourself there as well. So that's what I would do. But it kind of sounds like plantar fasciitis if it disappears once you start walking. That tends to be a thing. And then later on when we stop that or wake up in the morning, it tends to be the worst in the morning when you've not been using it for a while, it's not been moving. That's when it can feel like really quite stiff and a bit inflamed. But yeah, definitely if you're concerned, definitely go and speak to somebody. So the general rule of thumb is if it doesn't go away after a couple of days, could potentially be a problem. If it's still there after a couple of weeks, get yourself to a physio. Sorry, another one. Oh my gosh, never apologize. I love questions. The more the better, actually. So keep them coming. Does it matter if my joints make a lot of clicking during movement? Even the kids say it's noisy. Well, actually, this is a lot of people. I know it's funny. It's just a quirk of the body. A lot of people have this. And it can be little gas bubbles in your synovial fluid. So the synovial fluid is like the lubricant to your joints. It can be little gas bubbles in there. It can be a ligament or a tendon going over a bone. So it's nothing to be concerned about unless you notice a lot of inflammation with it, or if it really hurts. So if you get sharp pain, it really hurts, or you see some inflammation, then yeah, I would definitely go and see somebody about it. But otherwise, it's quite normal, and it's just a little quirk of the body. I'd say things like your mobility, flexibility work can really help keep the joints nice and happy, and same with like strength work as well. I love the plank challenge and I did much better than I thought I would, but I didn't manage to keep up towards the end. I want planking to become a daily habit, but is it okay to plank for a set length each day, say 2.5 minutes without adding one each day? I want to feel like I'm winning rather than struggling to hold it and then not enjoy it. Will I still get stronger doing it like this and then add on after a couple of weeks, stick at that for a while, or do I need to push myself to increase daily for it to be worthwhile? No, you don't have to increase it daily, and I wouldn't be doing that anyway. I'd definitely allow your body some rest where you can. So the most important thing is being consistent with it. So how many times are you going to commit to doing the plank? Okay, right, I'm going to do it 4 times a week. Do it for a couple of minutes, yeah, when that feels comfortable. Or maybe you do that for a week and think, okay, right, next week I'm going to add on 30 seconds or whatever. And then do it that way. You will get stronger up to a point. And then if, say, for example, if you held a plank, just picture this, like if you held a plank every single day for 3 years, probably like in the first few months, you're going to be getting stronger and stronger. It's going to feel really easy. And then you'll get to a point where your body is like so used to it, it's not really being challenged anymore. So you kind of hit a bit of a plateau. So yes, you'll still have a strong core, but it's not going to be progressing anymore. So you're not going to get stronger. So there will be a point where you reach a plateau. But that it might be where you could increase the duration, or you could increase the intensity. Like, can you lift one leg in the air? Could you do a side plank? Could you do some shoulder taps? Or just making sure that you've got core workouts within your week, whether that's in the form of Pilates or you do a bit of core work after a class, then that's great. I guess you've got to think about what the overall aim is here. And if it's to have a strong core, then you can do that however you want to. However works best for you. There's another question here about, are there any advantages of doing 3 1-minute planks a day instead of a longer one? Depends. If that's easier for you to do and put into your day, so then go for it, absolutely. If that's easier for you to be more consistent with getting down on the floor 3 times a day as opposed to 1, then that's fine. If you're wanting to get stronger that way, I don't know. I don't think there'd be much difference doing like a 2-minute one or 3 sets of 1-minute ones, really, unless you're in a place at the moment where, for whatever reason, that suits you better doing 3 1-minutes. I don't think, if you're trying to improve like your strength, your core strength gains, I would probably stick to the 1. And the reason being is because I think it's easier to be more consistent doing it that way. And it's going to test you both physically and mentally. It's going to test your muscular endurance. And also, it allows a bit more recovery time. It's like 3 1-minutes. You might, after a few months, you'd be like, that's so easy. But also, what if then you start to feel it in your back a little bit? Or what if you feel a bit fatigued one day? And then by the 3rd one of the day, your form is really not as good as the first one? I don't know. It really depends. And it also depends on how you're holding yourself by the end of the 2 minutes too. Yeah, just have to see how you get on. See, whatever works for you, whatever works best. I keep seeing things about electrolytes and electrolyte drinks. What are they and how can they help? Is just drinking water enough to rehydrate? Is this something I should be thinking of incorporating with doing daily exercise, or is it just for elite athletes? Is it something, and what brands do you recommend? I never add salt to my cooking as I thought it was bad. Okay, great. Salt isn't bad. Salt is absolutely necessary. It's necessary for our bodies. We need salt. And without salt, it's extremely detrimental. It's extremely detrimental to the body. So salt is really, really important. It's important for your cells. And electrolytes are basically essential minerals like sodium, so salt, potassium, magnesium, just to name a few, and they really help with your body's functions, like muscle contractions. So your heart's a muscle, that contracts. Other things like with your nervous system, some things about how the fluid moves between your cells. So they're really important. They're really important to have. Generally you get them from your food. So things like magnesium, you can get that from your leafy greens. Things like potassium, you could get that from bananas. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here. Sodium, salt, it's not a bad thing. Too much of anything is a bad thing, but you definitely do need some salt in your diet. I guess if you're ever adding it to food, generally, like, there's a little bit of salt in a lot of things that we have, so generally you don't have to add it, but some people actually do need to add salt to their food, especially if they maybe like they've sweat a lot or they do a lot of exercise. They might benefit from a little bit. It really, really depends. So it depends on, what's the context, what you're having overall over the day, what does your body need. In terms of adding electrolytes or electrolyte drinks, the only time that I would really ever do that is if you've done like a really intense workout, or you've got a long like endurance kind of workout, or if you've had a day where it's been really hot or you've been really sweaty, then maybe they can be beneficial there too, just to think about replenishing your body, replenishing the electrolytes into your body. But as a general rule of thumb, if you're not doing a super strenuous workout or a super long workout, or you've not been super sweaty, just drinking water is enough to hydrate. Yeah. I hope that's useful. I was just smiling at myself because I went, yeah. I don't know why I did that. I've been meaning to ask this for ages. What's the lovely word you say at the end of a yoga class, and what does it mean? I can never quite catch it. Namaste. So namaste means, basically, it means I bow to you. But what it means is my divine light in me sees and respects yours. Essentially, that's what it means. And it is a little moment at the end of class where we have this gratitude for what we've just done together, and this mutual respect from what we've just done together. It's like a deeper connection, like a mutual respect for a deeper connection. And that's all it is. So basically, showing respect for one another and gratitude for the session that we've just had. So that's what it means in a nutshell. I think that's all of the questions. Was that helpful, gang? Was that useful? I hope you enjoyed that today. And if you have got any questions, we're going to be here weekly. So do make sure that you send those in, and I'll be popping a post on the Facebook group so you can put your questions in the comments there. But for now, keep on showing up for class team. Huge effort already this week, and it's fantastic to see. The key is being consistent. So let's get ourselves into good routines. Think about our kind of range target. So what's your absolute non-negotiable minimum number of workouts you're going to hit per week? Something that is achievable for you. What's achievable for you that you know you can absolutely do and you're going to promise yourself you're going to do? And what's the ideal? So we aim for the ideal, but we have our non-negotiable minimum as a safety net to catch us. And what we don't do is we say, right, I'm going to do 5 workouts. And if we don't do it, oh, I didn't do 5 workouts, it's ruined, and then not do anything, or just feel like we've ruined it, which isn't true. It's not true. So let's think about the range. Let's think about getting variety in there, and think about showing up for you. And let's do it. Let's head into this week. And I will see you in class tomorrow. Oh no, I'll see you tonight. We've got pre-bedtime yoga. I'll see you in pre-bedtime yoga tonight at 9 o'clock. Bye everyone, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.